I have a very special treat for you right now because next to me is the all-new 2022 Chevy Silverado 1500 ZR2, the most premium and also the most off-road worthy Silverado light-duty truck that's coming on the market right now. I mean, this month. In this video, I'm going to show you all the way around this one. This one is in this hot red color, and actually TFL colors, black and red, and tell you everything about it, all the specifications, all the features, show you inside and out. This one is fully optioned. I think it's not missing almost any option, and I'll show you and tell you exactly what that's about. But let's take a look from the side and actually take this truck in. So it's a crew cab. It's got a shorter bed, basically 5+ foot bed, not quite a 6-footer. So the length of this truck, it has a wheelbase of about 147 inches, which is standard for Silverado 1500, and actually comparable to the Ford F-150 and Ram 1500 crew cabs, short bed trucks. But then a lot of similarities, of course, stop if you compare it with Trail Boss, for example, Silverado, because this is a ZR2. Come over here, let's look at the suspension first, and I'll show you some of the clearances. It has a slightly wider track, but these guys, see this dude right there? Multimatic Dssv shocks. Of course, GM started this with the Colorado ZR2 and this fancy spool valve shock technology, and now they're expanding and taking it to the Silverado. Is it really a Raptor competitor or a TRX competitor? Well, I think maybe not quite, because the Raptor and the TRX have proper full body, wide body suspension systems. And if you can look here down the side, this fender is a little bit wider and it's got this lip. And it's really about kind of the offset of this tire, the wheel and tire package. This is an 18-inch wheel, and it's wearing a 33-inch tall tire, a Goodyear Wrangler Territory MT. Right here, 275/70 R18. And of course, this is a unique ZR2 style for this wheel. But what Chevrolet is doing here, I think they're kind of bridging the gap, really, between where the Raptor and the TRX are and where some of the other trucks are, like the Tundra TRD Pro, the F-150 Tremor, the Nissan Pro 4X, and of course the Ram Rebel. So they're kind of trying to bridge that gap with this particular truck. This has just over 11 inches of ground clearance and really good approach and departure and breakover angles. You can kind of see it here. In the back, I'll show you on the other side, the rear suspension. But this is one of the optional equipment. This is kind of a rocker protector right here. It's optional. I think all ZR2 people, all the customers who are getting a ZR2 should probably have this, because it's functional, it looks great, it'll protect the body of your truck. And I think, I'll show you on the other side, it may already be scratched. I'm here in Palm Springs, California, at the first event that General Motors Chevrolet invited me to basically show this truck. Over here, it's unique because you cannot see any exhaust outlets here. It's hidden. It's got a dual exhaust system. It is tuned by Borla, so it's got the Borla mufflers. And in a little bit, I'll let you hear it. And you tell me what you think. How does it sound? This is really awesome. It has basically a full-size, same brand, Goodyear, right there, Territory MT tire as a spare. That's really important because if you're in the desert, like we'll be running through some of these trails here, and later on TFL Off-Road, I'll publish a video about that. If you're in the desert, you're likely gonna have a puncture. It's really nice that that spare is actually there. Here you could see the shock in the back. Once again, Multimatics. What GM did is actually they redesigned the suspension, even though it's still a leaf spring in the back. It's not coils, but they gave it more articulation, more suspension travel. It's like 9.8 inches of travel in front and about 10.5 approximately suspension travel in the rear. So you won't see those big numbers like 13 inches of travel or 14 inches of travel like the Raptor or the TRX. That's why it's kind of bridging that gap to those. So let me show you the engine, and then I'll let you listen to this beautiful V8. So let's pop the hood. The hood is unique. It basically says what's underneath. A 6.2 liter V8. I kind of wish, of course I wish, it would have been supercharged. Wouldn't that be sweet? Then it really would go up against the TRX. But still, this is factory output of 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. And actually, 10-speed automatic is also here. But under the hood, it kind of looks kind of normal, like most other Silverados. But Case, behind the camera, what do you say? Can I take the camera and then you start the truck and rev it?
Hell yeah.
All right, so here you go. Let me get my microphone over here.
You ready?
Yeah, give it a whirl. Thanks, Case. I don't know how you could hear it on camera, but there is no substitute for that. So, yes, I know, of course, Ford is really, proud of their twin turbo engines, and now Toyota is doing the same thing with their hybrid powertrains and twin turbo V6s. But there's no substitute for that traditional, really beefy, throaty V8 sound. Let's jump inside. I'll tell you more about the technology because there's a lot going on. Okay, so let me fire up the engine. By the way, all new interior, at least the front of it right here. Oh yeah, you could still hear it. So there were many complaints. Let me turn down the seats and the fans. It's trying to cool me off. It is pretty warm out there. There were many complaints, of course, about the previous interior design on the Silverado and also the Sierra. They've addressed it, I think, in a big, huge way because the front dash is basically all new. You have dual glove boxes here. Let's start on this side. There's a little button here. Bam! Because it's a ZR2, there's special stitching throughout and kind of special softer touch materials. Then, let me turn down the AC a little bit more. Brand new screen. This is a wide kind of horizontal layout, landscape layout. Let's look at the cameras. About 13.4 inch screen here, and there's another gauge cluster, digital gauge cluster right here. Before I go into tech, let's go over the off-road capability once again, because rear and front and rear lockers are available. This is huge. Even the Raptor has a torsion, but not selectable front locking differential. The TRX using kind of brake distribution to manage the traction up front. The ZR2 Silverado has dual selectable lockers. This is huge. Yes, it does have hill descent control system, of course, for traction. It does have 4-low. It has different drive modes. And it's fully... Actually, when you buy a ZR2 Silverado, it comes at a higher price because it's actually also a luxurious truck on the inside. You can see some of the leather materials here. Updated center console because, let me show you. You can also put your phone here and charge in the center, and it will actually kind of stay in there. It won't wiggle too much. I mean, maybe if you're jumping it, and still have a kind of a deep center console. You've got your 110, 120 volt outlet. You have USB-C, USB connectors. Another one here. Ventilated seats, heated seats, automatic climate control, your trailer brake controller. This truck is rated to tow up to 8,900 pounds. So actually more than the Raptor and the TRX. Those can do about 82 to 8,100 pounds. This truck has 1,440 pounds of payload. So also very, very usable payload. So it's kind of a combination of off-road tech and still trucky capability. New latest interface, very clear. I love the resolution on the cameras. You've seen some of these cameras before. Here's my front. Here's my Hitch Cam. And there's many more. For example, for the bed, right there. And actually it gives me a line just in case I had a gooseneck hitch, but I don't think many people are actually doing goosenecks in their ZR2s. At least I wouldn't recommend it. So all of that is here. You also have lane departure warning, of course, parking sensors, automatic start-stop system that you can defeat every time it restarts, power tailgate. It has a multi-flex tailgate. I can show you that in a second. And here I want to show you some of the drive modes. So let's focus on the center here. On my left, by my left knee, is a mode selector. And so there's an off-road mode. There's also terrain. And we'll also change my four-wheel drive system. Don't pay any attention to this because I've been just idling this truck sitting in the parking lot for the most part. Latest Google integration here as well. So for Google Maps, Google Assistant, all this stuff. This truck though is not a ZR2. So I wish it would more closely match the truck I'm in. So the color and also, of course, the trim level of it. So the off-road and terrain modes. And actually that mode terminology is similar to the Hummer EV in the GMC, in the new one. And then of course 4Low is available. I have a heads-up display right here. It's really hard for you to see. I have a sunroof, which is optional. So some of the optional equipment on this one is the rear camera mirror. That's an option. The sunroof is an option. The side steps, rocker protectors are an option. But a lot of the other equipment, the cameras, the off-road gear, the capability of this truck are all standard. At $69,245 is the base price for the ZR2. But you get everything. V8 engine, the exhaust system, all that stuff. And then of course with options, that price goes up to about $73. That's where it maxes out. So that's kind of an overview. Let's go jump outside again because I want to tell you a little bit more right there by the bed. Of course, the Bose stereo system is there. Here's the multi-flex, like I promised you. This truck is pretty tall, but actually this helps getting in and out, making that very simple. It has a 400 watt outlet right here. So it still doesn't have like the 2000 watt system like in the Raptor, for example. So maybe eventually GM will get there. So what about the price, right? I mentioned $69,245 including destination charges. That's pretty steep, but the new Raptor 35 starts at 70,000 plus. So yes, that's almost in the same territory. But the Raptor quickly goes into the $80,000 territory with options and also 37s from the factory. This has 33s. The TRX starts at $78,000 for the base 2022 model. Yes, that all the prices are going up. So I think the closest competitor to this truck on price is actually the brand new hybrid Tundra TRD Pro. That starts around 68 grand, kind of all in for the TRD Pro. So if you're shopping for this truck, that's kind of your neighborhood. That's the price and that's the competition. But I think, like you just heard, there is basically no replacement for the V8 sound, at least in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the new style. Of course, LED headlamps, little marker lights, red tow hooks. Yes, of course. Skid plates, although the gas tank doesn't appear to have a skid plate, at least not on this truck. So I'll look into it and I'll let you know more about that. Go back to tfltruck.com and tfl-studios.com for everything right there. You saw it first at TFL.